y'all, welcome back to Relationship Talk with Lloyds. I'm Tyece, and this is
Courtney.
And we are Relationship Talk with the Lloyds. We do relationship talks, we do review shows on Married at First Sight, and we do everything relationships. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and you can follow us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, relationship_talk_Lloyds. All right, let's get into this review of Married at First Sight, season 12. First up, they had Eric and Virginia. So Eric and Virginia is still married, even though people were saying, you know, they weren't going to stay together, including me. But as of the reunion date, they're still together. Virginia looked nice. She looked much better than she did on, Decision Day. She had a little stringy outfit. It looked like a flapper girl, but and Eric looked nice too with his all black.
She had the Lamada outfit on, body dressing. My man, la 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 bum bum.
Anyway.
Hey, Eric, he looks smooth.
Yeah, Eric looked nice.
I like that black and green. I may bite that style. I might bite. I might buy some green, and they look good.
Yeah, so they were talking about the fact that they almost didn't get married because Virginia had a false positive COVID test. Yeah. So she had to quarantine, and she had to take another test, and they became negative. So they almost actually didn't get a chance to meet, didn't have this experience, but thank goodness she took her test and it came back negative. They were able to go on with the show. So that's something that they didn't show before, so which was, surprising.
She was like, listen, I don't got the COVID. I'm going to take 2-3 tests. I don't have it.
And we find out that she did compromise and she's living in his condo after all that back and forth arguing, saying where she gonna live in. I'm not gonna live there and blah, blah, blah. She ended up living in a condo.
And then on top of that, she over here, rallying all the women, behind her. He's controlling. And then she just backed up on y'all. Y'all should be upset, y'all women.
Oh my God.
and then she come out there, yes, he was, he's not controlling. And just like all that just went away.
But the same thing, he backtracked on the fact that his position with the guy friends. Oh, I like all her guy friends. They both backpedaled.
No, but I explained, stuff that was what he was saying. Yes, and I do get what my man was saying. Yes, I'm still talking. Mama going back to sleep. he was saying, like, hey, man, like, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't know these guys. My wife, she likes to get drunk. And these guys, can I be your number one for now? They've been your number one for... Let me smooth on in and sleep up in your crevices.
Oh, my God. Anyway.
Hey.
So the cats are there, everybody's there, and he talked about he only had to take his medicine one or 2 times, whatever. She's still not convinced he's allergic, so that's still a question out there to be solved. But the one thing that they do and I agree, they both realize that they need to work on their communication and, the way that they speak to each other. So the phrase that she used is they speak to each other when they're passionate. I'm like, stop being no passionate. When y'all mad, y'all angry, y'all be yelling and cussing. Stop doing that. You can't be talking to your partner like that. You have to be respectful. Even in your anger, you have to watch how you say things to each other. And that's the advice his mom gave, that, you have to be honest and think about how you speak to each other. Because words hurt, and people remember those things. And when you say something, in anger, you can't take it back. So you always have to think about how you speak to each other.
What do you think about Potty Gal?
Potty Gal.
She don't party.
She claimed.
I'm just saying. She say, hey, listen, I don't do like.
She don't party like. She don't party when he's there. When he flying planes, she all over the place. Sleeping at her friend's house, being drunk. She just don't do when he's in his presence.
Oh my gosh.
So that's all I gotta say about that. But the story continues with them. I'm still not 100% that they're gonna I'm still thinking.
They
trying to work it out, but they still got some work to do.
That's good. That's good. Like I said, communication can fix things, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, understanding too and taking time. That can fix a whole lot of things.
At least they're aware of their issues.
Oh yeah.
So that's the main thing. They have to be aware, and then hopefully not sweeping it under the rug anymore. So,
Sure
all right. Let's move on to Clara and Ryan.
Oh my God.
So
what they look like.
Now, I have to give props to Kevin. Kevin did his thing hosting this reunion.
Perfect dude. Perfect dude.
He did his thing.
All of the questions that I would have been just shoving out.
He asked all the questions that the audience wanted to know.
Of course.
And I loved how Ryan, of course, they're still together. Ryan called out Kevin. When he was like, people would say that we weren't going to be together, including you.
I'm looking at you, Kevin.
And Kevin had to be like, hey, I did say I was going to be together, but you know.
That's right.
Moved it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But they claim that they're going to have another wedding and renew, have a wedding so everybody could be there because the original wedding, COVID, and everybody that loved wasn't able to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But when they asked Ryan if he said, I love you, he was like, no. I'm like, wait a minute.
Don't make no sense.
How are you going to get married again?
Wow.
So this time you're choosing to get married, right?
Vows.
The first time you had no choice as part of the show. Now this is your choice.
Why?
You're saying, I want to be with this person forever. I want to give you my last name. I want to marry you. I want to build a life with you.
Obre.
But you not going to say, I love you to the person? It don't make no sense.
Any sense.
It didn't make no sense to Kevin either, because Kevin was like, listen, do you love the girl or not? Do you love her? And he was like, I think I love my wife.
Hey.
No, he's like, I think I do. He didn't even say the words at first. I think I do.
Ooh.
I'm like, what?
Did I hear love go in my ear? Ooh.
And then you said, I love you. So he finally said, I love you to Clara.
Elvira turned red.
Why is she Elvira?
She didn't look like Elvira?
Oh my gosh.
You telling me she didn't look like that? Never mind.
Anyway.
So he looked like a dude with 50. I thought it was a costume party going on. What is it?
It's him with that mustache. She don't seem like she like it, but it's here to stay.
Yeah, she said she tried to fight it since.
Yeah, but he just keeping that.
Oh my God! Hey, why did get bust down Brianna as being the most spending person on this planet?
Exactly. They only showed the budget with them, like Brianna spent some money, but they were saying that Clara spent a lot of money too.
Yeah.
I was like, why they only show Brianna's spending habits?
That wasn't right.
Yeah, but anyway, I was just like, that was something that they could have showed that scene. Like, why only Brianna?
Yeah.
But I was like, Kevin, kudos to you, because you asked all the questions we want, and they tried to skip around the sex questions. Talk about, did we? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they rehearsed that, and they wasn't talking about that. It wasn't.
She finally got bust down, and then now he said, I love you, so she on cloud 9. He ain't get rid of that girl.
What happened with the hickey? I'm just saying.
Yeah, imagine the hickey from last week.
Big old thing just disappeared just like that.
No hickey,
Courtney. Okay. I was just saying.
I can't with you with this hickey. I can't with you with this hickey, y'all.
All right, let's move on.
All right, now we're going to go to our favorite couple, Brianna and Vincent.
That's our favorite couple?
It's my favorite couple.
Oh, all right.
And they were looking so beautiful together. Oh, my gosh. Brianna's hair, she did that. I loved her hair.
She did that.
And they both look nice together. I was like, okay, Vincent. But Vincent, that shirt. Still looking like he was fighting though.
Hey, what you talking about? Hey, he's a coach machine up in here. Like he's into his physical fitness.
After he did look like he lost a little bit of weight though, but the shirt was still like he was fighting. The funniest part of it, before, of course, obviously they're together, but the funniest thing is when they show the scene on the little mini vacation that they took by the horse, and he saw his stomach, and he was like, "Yo, look at my stomach." I was dying because his stomach was just sitting out there. And I was like, "Vincent, I understand because I be doing the same thing." I be looking back at pictures like, "Oh my God, look how fat." I got you, Vincent. That just make us want to work out and lose some weight. Well, I'm on my journey, Vincent. Me and you, Vincent.
So he said his sensitivity is from anxiety, that you guys be looking at him and maybe judging him, and he just can't control that, and he can't.
Because he's thinking of the fact that millions of people are going to watch him,
looking at me,
and judging
anxiety.
him, and he cares about what people think, and then like Brianna's the opposite. And I can kind of see that. I can understand why he reacts the way he did. Now that we know that he deals with anxiety and, you know, being concerned about what everybody think about him. So I can kind of understand a little bit, but he's still a little sensitive. He's still sensitive.
Okay. Hey, but at least he got some things planned out. They got some things planned out.
Yeah, they do have.
Buying a condo in DR and buying a home in Atlanta and staying in Atlanta. Like,
they got some plans for the future.
Probably having a kid a year.
Yeah, they are.
A year or 3.
They're thinking ahead, and it seems like they making a good plan. And the fact that now their whole thing about having a baby is switched. Before, Vincent wanted to have a baby. Now, and then Brianna was wanting to wait. Now Brianna's like, "Oh, I want to have a baby," and Vincent want to wait because they said they watched Vincent's nephew, and he realized how hard it is to have a baby. So it was a reality check for him. But it was nice to kind of see how they grew, their growth, you know, and see that their relationship is still in a positive movement, and that they kind of, you know, matured together a little bit. I think Vincent matured a lot over the process, and he kind of was able to reflect and see, you know, how different things happen. And I think he backtracked a little bit though with her bossiness. He tried to sweeten it up.
Oh yeah, because he was saying that's one thing he frankly didn't want in a woman to be, you know. But of course, you know, he's trying to protect his relationship, you know. In the future, they trying to iron things out and make things all smooth. So, hey,
and she was
things you have to do.
She realized. She said, "Yeah, I am bossy," and she had to compromise. Said everything can't be her way. She had to realize she had to compartmentalize being at work and being in charge, and then being at home, and like you don't have to make everything the way you want it at home. Like if there's a dish in the sink, okay. If the bed's not made, okay. You kind of have to compromise, and I think they're doing a good job on that.
Yeah.
But like you kind of alluded to with the whole boot camp, I'm like, why did they show that scene?
Why? That was a
nice, funny scene. It was so cute, and I was like, it showed a different side of Vincent. It showed you know, that's the thing about the show.
It's right. They edit things
to have, you know,
people
people portrayed a certain way,
yeah,
as sensitivity that we've been saying this whole time. But
I never called him sensitive. I don't think, brother. Never mind.
Anyway, yeah. So it was nice to kind of see a different side of him. He was funny. He was goofy. He was a little bit kind of in charge too with the whole thing. I think he put a lot of work into it because he had his little pictures on the side. He was like, "Here's some Vinny." What he said? Some Vinny water.
Some Vinny juice.
That was hilarious. I thought that scene. They should definitely kept that scene.
You know,
into the whatever, you know.
That's why Kevin said, "Yo, listen, I don't want, you know, our audience to be, you know, taken back from this. That we have to show this."
Yeah, it was a very good scene.
That was a good scene.
Yeah, it was very nice. I liked it.
Yep, and it shows his character. And,
in a different light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we forgot to mention is Eric and Virginia, they want to have some kids too. So
yeah, because she was saying when the mom what was it, after the honeymoon, when they asked her, she was saying she's 50-50. She was like, she meant that if my husband didn't want to have kids, I'd be okay. If my husband do want to have kids, I'd be okay. So I wasn't like one way or the other. I'm whatever my husband wants, I'm okay either way.
So she backtracked herself too. So
yeah, so like they had this whole discussion about it. Why she didn't say that when they had a discussion? He was like, you know, if we don't want to have kids, I'm out. Ultimatum. The non-ultimatum person making an ultimatum. Controlling.
It's all good.
All right, so the next scene that they had after, you know, Clara and Brianna and Eric they had all the girls come together and they kind of discussed the season. So
Mhm.
Clara, it's so funny that they played back a scene when before they got married, all the girls were together, and Clara's concern was her husband talking about sex, and then she got Ryan. So she was concerned about her husband not being comfortable talking about sex.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and then you get Ryan, the person that don't want to talk about
Yeah.
sex. So it was so funny that she was concerned about that and still got that.
Mhm.
She was concerned about the person that said I love you and got that. So I'm like,
She was dealt the hand.
I know, but it worked out in her favor because sometimes you don't
Some
know
things
what you want,
like, I don't want this.
and it's exactly what you need.
Exactly right.
All right, then they went to they were talking, asked Haley. So we all was thinking now. We were saying, how can Haley sleep with Jacob, and then all of a sudden she don't want him to touch her, she don't want to hug him. Like, how does that work? And we were always alluding to the fact that maybe she just didn't like the sex, like it wasn't that good. They asked her if that's the reason, and I was like, Haley, you could have sweetened it up a little bit. You did not have to throw this man on the bus. And Kevin said, let's save this man's reputation. And what she do? Throw him up on the bus. I'm like, Haley, she was not right for that.
I was feeling
not right for talking about Jacob like that.
And she's classless. Oh man, Haley, you did yourself a bad service. You doing this to yourself.
How's that, girl?
And I believe them 7 years that you didn't have a man is for a reason. I mean, like, I'm holding on saying you're a cute girl, this and that, but the value was not there for a Jacob.
No, they weren't the right match at all.
And Jacob, even when he let her down, he did it the best way. You, after Kevin said some things and said, save this man's reputation, you just throwing jabs, just bang, bang, uppercuts.
Fake it.
You
like,
couldn't even...
Just say we just didn't match. We just didn't, it just didn't work out.
After the sex, it was just all over. It was just... Was the sex good? No, it wasn't good. You resent the dude.
But you know what I think? I think,
her feelings is hurt.
Remember the whole scene about her lying about going to hang out, and when he went downstairs, he ran away? I was like, that probably after they had sex. She probably went down and was telling everybody. And that's when she was trying to tell them it wasn't good. And then when they saw him, they all ran away. He said, oh man, here go Jacob. He go, no, we talking about him.
Yeah,
that's just my theory. Hope baby don't mind.
Like, I'm not, because I think I was saying that it had to be the sex, because, and then I was, making jokes saying that he probably, let something out.
Oh my God.
Because he eat eggs and this and that, but I was touching on that part too. But one thing I'm going to say is, what in the world is Haley doing with Paige? Because when she went missing, went with Jacob, and Jacob was like, yo, where were you? And she didn't answer her phone. She was somewhere with Paige.
She was in
and
Paige's
they was doing
apartment.
a video. Hey, don't we look cute together? Don't we? And now up on this show, they hugging up on a vacation.
He was on a trip.
Hey,
I think they bonded over the fact that
coming out the closet.
Oh
what
my
is
gosh!
going on?
I think they bonded because both of their relationships wasn't going good.
Okay.
So they had that kind of bond. The fact that they both were having a good experience when other people were having a good experience.
Well, at that point, that
they were.
Paige was having a bad experience.
They both were.
Yeah, but it wasn't having that bad of experience.
But she knew she didn't like it.
We look cute together. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Try to start so fast. But the one thing that, when they asked about Paige and how the girls felt about her experience, and of course, Virginia had to say the same thing she'd been saying, that, Paige is a stronger person than she is. She basically Virginia wouldn't be taking that mess. She would have told that boy something and just been like, I'm out.
And that's where Paige is sitting there blinking her eyes at, like, what you trying to say? What you trying to say?
Yeah.
I can see through your words. What you trying to say?
They both say that, you know, they always say she's a great girl. She really wanted this experience. She was dealt a bad hand, but overall, it should have been like, girl, stop going back to him. Stop with the mess.
Well, they was kind of saying, especially Bree.
But she wasn't.
Bree
trying
was
to
giving
hear
it to her real. Like,
she didn't want to hear it. So she said,
people
Paige,
are their own person.
Paige said I had a wedding and a funeral on the same day, and I was like, girl,
that was.
You sure did.
Yeah, that was.
But
that
you,
was, like,
that funeral, you resurrected that dead body
exactly.
over and over and over again.
You would wake up from the dead and just get killed again. And
you kept digging that body up over and over when you should have left it in the grave.
Oh my God.
And Clara hit that nail on the head when she said that Chris knows what to say to Paige. He knows the words to say. She was like, he's been engaged twice. So he knows how to manipulate women and how to get women to come back to him. It was like Paige wasn't running back to him. He kept coming back and telling her stuff, trying to draw her back in, and it worked. And basically because he's good at it. Plain and simple.
Yeah, she hit it on the head. And she probably experienced that stuff because she so quickly falling in love with men. And
that's
she
true. That's a good point.
And she knows from experience. So
she's probably been in that type of relationship before, and I wish she should have shared some of that wisdom with Paige. Be like, it doesn't end well.
She probably did. You probably didn't.
Probably did. And Paige
it probably didn't make the edits, but some people just don't listen.
Don't listen.
I mean, some sound wisdom. Just why would you even not take that wisdom and just be like, you know what? I hear you. Let me
some
stay
people
away.
They don't listen.
People and just keep trying.
After everything, they're like, I should have listened to you.
And get burnt.
All right, so
I don't play with fire.
Let's move on to Paige and Chris.
You will get burnt. You talking about that liar? That hypocrite? That's all I'm gonna say about him. You go ahead now.
All right, so the funny thing is how Kevin said, y'all had a rocky road. And I was like, they sure did. Here he go with the bull. That's why I have to write down my paper. Here he go with the bull. With the apologizing tour that he's on since decision day. Talk about, I'm apologizing for how I treated her. I was not mature. And I'm like, you lying. And Kevin called him out. Was like, listen, that is beautifully prepared answers to these questions. Like,
yes.
It's like it's a beautiful media training.
Yeah, exactly. You see him, he smiled and looked up like,
because he's like,
is he catching me? Is he?
Yeah, you're fake.
Oh man.
You just come with these rehearsed answers
to
like smooth everything over after you treat this girl so bad and talks about her like a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's why he was hitting on main points. Hey, explain to me about the face. What you said?
Yeah, I'm glad. Oh my God, I felt so bad for Paige when they showed that scene about him talking about her like that. And I can't believe she kept sitting beside him. I couldn't. Once I see that scene, I would be like, oh, that's how you feel. I would be like, let me sit over here. We'll do our interview on 2 different couches because I'm not sitting next to him. Not after seeing that scene. She good because I would have not sat next to him anymore.
But I know you wouldn't.
Now the fact that why were they even trying to reconcile? Like, what is wrong with this girl? What is there to reconcile about? Like, we knew it wasn't over the way they left when all the couples were at the end. But like, reconcile, girl, really? I'm so glad she finally came to the realization that she was like, okay, we're just not good for each other. We're just not good for each other. And I'm like, girl, get it together.
Paige is, I guess, word it could be, I don't know, too caring. I don't know, because after even with the pastor incident, and she's standing up between them. Just, listen,
we didn't even get to that yet. You jumping ahead.
Listen, I would have stepped out of the way and like,
after he talked about my face, I wouldn't care less what happened to him or what he do.
Pastor, you can damage his ugly face. I'm out. And I'd have been out. Like, that's what she should have did. That's what she should have did. Like,
What she should have did?
That's what she should have
Let me
did.
see what she should have did.
Pastor, you can damage his thing. I'm out. Like, yo. Like,
All right, so let's backtrack a little bit. So, Kevin asked him about Mercedes and the fact that does she have the Mercedes? So he didn't want to answer that question. And I was like, everybody's trying to find out, like, now that the baby is no longer, like, do she still have Mercedes?
I don't want to disrespect. I don't want to disrespect Paige, you know, in front of my face. In our faces is I can't. I don't want to.
I was like, he don't want to answer because he ain't never bought that girl that Mercedes. He didn't buy that for her. That's why he didn't want to answer because he lied. And I'm like, they was asking about the whole sex. They said, no more sex talk. Let's not talk about sex. And then here go Paige. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Nah, I just, out of respect for myself. And I was like, girl, you should have some respect earlier.
I don't want to discuss my decisions when I made them all wrong.
Exactly.
I don't want to discuss it.
Got dragged.
It may bring me back and I may get mad again.
But then, okay, now we could get to the whole Pastor Dwight coming into the scene. Because they were like, basically, they haven't talked. So they're trying to see, let's mend this friendship. Bring in Pastor Dwight. And I have to say, Pastor Dwight here wasn't looking bad. It was, you know, he still had a little, the drawing, but it didn't look that bad. He's back looking nice again. And in the beginning of the season, he was looking nice. Then he just went ugly. Now he's looking decent again. I was like, why him and Chris look like they were twins with their suit?
No, Chris, he wore that suit. This is like his 4th time wearing that.
I don't know if it's the same suit or if this is the same style because blue and it's like fussy. It's just a busy suit. They both have 2 busy suits on with their little attachment with the jewelry. It's like, well, no, Chris didn't have. Chris had a little flower. He had the attachment. It's like he borrowed Chris's or he loaned it to Chris for Decision Day or something. I don't know.
I think it's this. How this dude ready to disrespect a pastor that didn't even raise his voice, and he's so immature.
Okay, I'm going to side just a little bit, just a little bit, okay, and say if we are friends, right, and you really want to mend this friendship, why wait until reunion to not come on camera to say let's mend this? And I think that's where Chris was coming from. Like, if we're so much friends and you want to mend our friendship, call me up. Let's have a conversation before this whole reunion and coming on camera and to get some camera time. So I could see that point in Chris. But what I don't understand is he's saying I was your mentor, I'm your whatever pastor, and Chris is like, no, you're not my pastor. We were just friends. And I'm like, Chris, you brought him on the show, introduced him on the show as your pastor, and then now all of a sudden he not your pastor, y'all was just friends. Like, what is it? Like, you know? And I'm like, okay, you're upset with him, you're mad or whatever it was. And he was saying that he was putting Mercedes down to build Paige up. And thank God for Kevin. Kevin was like, dude, we just had a whole conversation about you doing the same thing to Paige. So how you mad at him and you treated Paige like a dog?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is wrong with you? So I was like, what is wrong with this dude? But I'm like, why are you getting so upset wanting to fight? I said he forgot what show he was on. He thought he was on Love and Hip Hop Reunion. And that Married at First Sight.
I guess.
But I'm just like, yo, why are you cussing at the man? You such a man of God. And like, you just cussing words to the left and right. He's mad at the devil, I should say. I'm like, cuss words to left and right. And he's like, nah, you ain't going to be cussing at me. Like, speak to the man, respect. Like, this is the man that's...
But I don't think the pastor came on to reconcile the relationship. They probably called him up to have him on.
He came
I don't
for some
think
camera
he
time.
called him up and said, yo, let me reconcile. But I guess he was saying, hey, since our relationship broke down at this point in front of the cameras, let's mend it.
I ain't gonna go that route. I think that man came for some camera time. He trying to be you know, he's trying to get some fame.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
I think maybe he had good intentions. You know, the things that he was saying with Paige when he met with Paige. But overall, I think he does have an agenda, just like Chris has an agenda.
Hey, listen,
they're trying to get some fame.
Like he said, yeah, I'm here to counsel them. She called him. So why wouldn't he?
And she said
right?
He had good intentions, so who knows?
Why wouldn't he, what you call it? Just because he called this man out, yeah, he shouldn't have put him on blast and say, hey, listen, he's not the right one for you and this and that. But it was the truth.
No, I think that the main thing that we missed is the fact that he said that Chris does not like correction.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's not a lie. He doesn't like when anybody corrected. That's the same way he shut down when they was telling him, like, why you know,
but the point
treating her, you have a jewel, you have a diamond, and he didn't like that.
He was telling the truth. Just like he even brought up, hey, this man back in the days was, hey, he got, you know, he proposed to, you know, and of course he don't like that. You putting all
his
my
business
information out there and this and that, yeah, but you can handle people with your words instead of trying to, you know, physically harm them. And I think, you know, the pastor would have broken down anyway.
I just didn't like, he just portrayed the stereotype of a ghetto black man.
His hand on him. Bang! Oh!
He laid him out in the Holy Spirit.
The Bible says you gotta lay some hands on him.
Lay hands on them and they will recover.
They will recover.
Praise God.
At some point.
So I just think that it was classless. It was just like, it brought the show down a little bit to a ghetto level. And I'm like, come on, Chris, stop feeding into the stereotype of a ghetto person just because, you know, especially because he's black. It's like, come on, like, it was no need for you to be that hyped. You could be angry, you could say what you want to say, but to get up and talk about come to the parking lot, like, come on, really? Really? It's not even that serious. You're not even with Paige anymore, so who cares? You treated her like a dog, talked about her like a dog, like, basically stomped on her, and then now you want to be like, oh, you should have respected me to go speak to my wife. You didn't even respect your wife, so...
I introduced you into my wife. At least you can have respect for me. Dude, you don't have no respect for your wife. This not even your wife. You never considered her your wife.
You never treated her like a wife.
So why are you trying to, you use that prop as, hey, this is my wife.
I'm like,
you treat your wife
go
like
sit
that?
somewhere. Go sit somewhere.
If you treat your wife, how do you treat yourself? If you had kids, how would you treat your kids? I don't know.
He just
I
ain't
don't
got
know.
no words.
A man with value would value things. I don't think this dude have a value.
Yeah, he valued himself. That's
value clothes and cars.
Material things. He said it.
Exactly.
It's all about the
materialistic guy.
And his whole, like, I'm like, you say all these apologies, but right now in real time on social media, you still pop it off. So what are you really sorry about? Nothing. Like, they gave him a chance to redeem himself, and he just came with his prepared speech and thought everybody was gonna buy it, but we're not buying. We're not drinking the Kool-Aid, okay? We're not. We ain't Paige. So I think that was about it. They ended the episode.
They ended it
with the whole drama with him walking out, and
I don't know why.
Paige was like, Chris, with her butt all in the pastor face. I was like, girl, you got your booty all in the man's face.
Got your dunk all up in front of the pastor face.
Trying to tap the man of God.
You know.
But anyway,
I was about to say something.
Don't say it. Well, so next week they're going to finish up with the reunion. So obviously they're probably going to have the conclusion of Paige and Chris.
You're going to have my man Jacob back.
Jacob and Haley. And they're going to have probably maybe the guys, since they had the girls, and then all the couples all together.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens next week. I'm interested to hear what Jacob and Haley though. I think that's gonna be juicy. That's
going to be an argument, and you know.
I want to hear what Jacob got to say, especially after Haley just played him and said he can't lay it down in the bed. That's basically what she said. But that's all right. Don't worry, Jacob. I know that DM gonna be full of girls trying to figure out.
Hopefully, this dude is calm. He's
gonna be calm because he's a.
You know.
Unless he had that blow up like he did after the honeymoon. But other than that one time, he was fine. He'd be like,
Hey, that's why this dude was like, yo, man, what is going on? This woman don't want him to sit next to me on the plane.
Exactly.
What?
As long as you give Jacob his eggs and his steak, he'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right. Just give him his eggs and steak. He just be calm for that reunion.
So down below, party people, it's right there.
Hit that subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
If you're not subscribed to our channel,
this long.
exactly.
That means you like something we say. I think we earned your like. So go and hit that like button. There's nothing. You'll help us out. You help the channel out. Hey, get this good word, spread it amongst the people.
Okay. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next Saturday. Should talk with the Lloyds. Bye, y'all. Peace out.